Mr. Combs, thank you again for bringing these serious matters to our attention, for working with me and our team and the Government Accountability Office, and for being here today. I know your motivation is to help improve the circumstances at the Veteran Crisis Line and to protect the well-being of those in need of services. Would you describe for me, for the committee, the interaction between the veteran caller and the responder that led to the September 23 OIG report?
Yes, sir. If I could, real quick, I'd like to thank you for listening. It's been really important that you listened, and for John and Emily and your staff for everything they did for these past couple of years. It was really important.
Thank you.
The interaction that took place, the veteran was in act of accomplishing a suicide. He contacted the crisis line via text message. The responder missed multiple cues that the veteran had a belt around his neck, that he was losing consciousness, that he was actually attempting suicide as he was texting her. She reported that the call ended normally. 10 minutes later, the veteran was dead, and in fact died in his garage behind his house, mere feet from his entire family.
My understanding, based upon what my staff tells me, that an interaction like that should trigger a root cause analysis. Tell me what that is, and tell me if one occurred.
Yes, sir. A root cause analysis.
Why or why not?
Yes, sir. A root cause analysis within the VA, they use it on a clinical basis, but it's a very common thing that, frankly, everyone does to get down to what was the root cause of the issue that led to the event. It's used in business as well. A root cause analysis in VA's and the VCL's terminology is to identify what the actual root cause of the event was that led to the suicide after the VA was last touched, after VA was involved, or VCL was involved, or could be involved in a suicide. The root cause analysis was not performed in 2021 when we were first informed of the veteran, because we didn't have a transcript and no one was actually all that concerned about it. It was kind of business as usual. But when the IG said they were coming in, we were very concerned about what the IG might identify, so we wanted to dig into what the IG might find out and try to get ahead of the train. But frankly, to be able to put a point on this, the executive director determined that a root cause analysis would not be performed in 2021, and in 2022 decided that root cause analysis was appropriate to perform.
My takeaway from your testimony, Mr. Combs, and perhaps you too, Ms. Blane, is that there's this culture of turning a blind eye, outright covering up of deficiencies, and what it seems is that it may be really common at the Veterans Crisis Line, and none of this makes sense to me. I don't think I know people who would not take those circumstances seriously, whether you're the responder, whether you're the person on the line, or whether you're that person's supervisor. I don't think I understand how anyone could not see the importance and take every step necessary to protect the life of the caller. What's missing? How does this take place? I wrote down training, attitude, leadership, I don't know what, supervision. What's missing here that would cause somebody to do something that seems to me to be so inhumane?
Sir, it is an attitude or a culture of permissiveness. It starts from the top. It's the executive director of the Suicide Prevention Program that, again, has been running the program, as well as the VCO since 2017, who's created the culture of permissiveness, and his management team outside the call center, because I want to be very clear, call center people are rock stars. But the management team overall, the culture of permissiveness has led to this environment where they chase metrics and not lives.
And what do they benefit by having better metrics? Is there an incentive for better metrics?
Mr. Chairman, I can't answer that because it is completely foreign to me from a service point of view. All I know is to serve.
Senator Blumenthal, I wish he was here. He and I, on a different committee, the Senate Committee on Commerce, conducted a long investigation into the sexual abuse of gymnasts in the Olympics. And I remember the Olympian, at least one of them, saying what stuck with me from the very beginning is, and it was a series of women who were harmed. And it was, why was there more than one? And it strikes me as something very similar here about if there's an error, a poor performance, disregard for human life, it happened once, but then it was taken care of. And so while I would condemn the bad behavior of any employee, I don't understand how it wouldn't be corrected so that it never happened again. Ms. Blane, let me ask you, I also thank you for being here and your courage in explaining and sharing your experience. Describe the VCL leadership. What's the story there?
Thank you so much for that question. I have to start with the fact that I have a lot of leadership experience coming from IRS. So coming into the VCL, notable things such as no active standard operation procedures were written. There was elevation of positions by clicks, not by experience. There was an ignorance to what was in the union contract, what was right, what was wrong, what was indifferent. And I think that because of a lack of leadership skills, trained individuals on running departments from that manner trickled down to what was happening at the bottom line with the crisis responder and all of the teams. When we onboarded in 2016, the management staff were new hires off the street. They had not been federal employees before. They knew nothing about union contracts. They knew nothing about managerial principles. In fact, I went to the then director and said, listen, I know I'm not in management, but I can guarantee you with all the years that I've been training managers at IRS, I can help get your people on their feet. They said, no, thank you. So at that point, I had to begin looking at how could I be a voice on behalf of the responders and the employees, because I knew that the management staff, their abilities, even in projecting staffing, was not that great because they just didn't have the experience.
I need to wrap up my questions quickly for the benefit of my colleagues. I want to ask two more, and then we'll move on. Are the people who you are describing here today, are they still employed at the VA? Has there been any consequences? What's the one or both of you, either of you?
Mr. Chairman, I think Marcia is she's been there, she just left the VCL, so she's probably better situated to answer.
Several of them are still employed. Some have left, but yes, the answer to your question.
And finally, and it kind of fits with what Mr. Combs just said when he deferred to you. So if you were still an employee at the VA and you were here in front of us, is that something that you would be honored for or something you'd be punished for?
More than likely punished. There is an atmosphere of be quiet, keep your head down, or face the consequences.
It strikes me so sadly because we're dealing with people who served our country, who had no option of keeping their head down.
Correct.